hello, everyone, and welcome to the college football version of Proline. I'm John Cranton in Las Vegas, joined by world champion handicapper Jim Fice. Going to take a look at a couple of big SEC games coming up over the weekend. Florida, LSU on Saturday, and Texas A&M, Ole Miss. But first, Jim, boy, you've been hitting everything across the board. A 46-26 football run, 18-9 with NFL totals. You had that dog pound play on the Ravens, the one again. That's perfect, 5-0 on the season. And you're winning in college and pro. How can people get aboard at a very special price?
I don't know, John, but ever since I put Zeus's picture up online, we haven't had a loser in those dog pounders. So we're going to keep his picture up there all the time.
Let's get him on the show.
He's not camera shy, believe me. He might occupy the whole show. I have a $21 offer all of October, including Major League Baseball and two college games of the month that go on Saturday, and a rivalry game of the month that goes early on Saturday. In my NFL total of the month also on Sunday, 1-866-841-1655. You call that number, 1-866-841-1655, and for $21, you get the rest of October on me. That's $21. We'll have a lot of winners the rest of the month, so make sure you make the call and join me in collecting some money.
Okay, and Dave Koken, too, he's got his college super total of the year. Last time he released a super total was 2 weeks ago, LSU, Georgia. That game flew over the total in a shootout. He has his top super total of the year going Saturday. It's $99 online. But you can get it for $29 with a bonus TV winner as well as a high roller release going tonight, 1-866-896-1629. All right, Jim, in the SEC, Florida is playing LSU on Saturday. Boy, it's a showdown game between these teams. It's also a revenge game. You got a defensive-oriented Florida team against Les Miles, who loves to throw it down the field. Who do you think has the edge in this one?
Well, I think LSU has the edge. I mean, I believe they have a better quarterback, a better passing game. Of course, they're playing at home. That's a big edge as well. Florida definitely has a strong defense. They're on the second quarterback for this year, run-oriented team anyway, so they won't want to get into a shootout with LSU because LSU has a lot of weapons, and if they get cranked up with that home crowd, it could be devastating. So they want to keep this game low-scoring, like last year's 14-6 Gator win. So I look for a defensive effort by Florida, but if the game gets away from them, LSU will run away with it because Florida won't be able to keep up.
Yeah, I'm going to take a look at LSU in this run simply because Florida's now, they're working on that second quarterback with Tyler Murphy, and it's a run-oriented team anyway, 99th in the nation in passing, and one of the problems the Gators have is they just don't have any playmakers. I mean, the one guy who stepped up now is the wide receiver Solomon Patton with 348 yards. He was an Urban Meyer recruit, and he's sort of a small version of Percy Harvin. But he's the only guy they have like that, and they got the young quarterback. And the Gators, when they face a team with a winning record, they really haven't been able to do it against the Vegas number 2-6 against the spread. They're also, when they play on grass, they're 3-7 ATS. And as far as LSU is concerned, they always have a tough, hard-hitting defense, but what they've added this year is good balance on offense. Now, when they got Zach Mettenberger a year ago, he was a transfer from Georgia. I kind of thought that LSU offense would really take off in the passing game. Well, it didn't. He struggled last year as a junior, learning the system. He had one great game against Alabama, but he was inconsistent. Well, now he's really putting it all together as a senior quarterback. 15 touchdowns, 2 picks, over 1,700 yards. And this LSU offense has the kind of balance that Les Miles love. Over 45 points per game, 291.5 yards passing. That's 27th in the nation, 197 yards rushing per game. So he can spread the field, and they can do quite a bit on the offense. When the Tigers have not been very good when playing in the SEC, just 3-1 against the spread. And I'm going to kind of discount last year's game of 14-6. That LSU team couldn't really pass the football. Now they can. So what I think is going to happen is the Tigers will be able to get a lead with their aggressive offensive attack in the passing game. It gets to be 10-0. Florida's going to have to pass more, get out of what they like to do with this passing, with this young quarterback, and it could pose some problems. So LSU could get the home crowd behind them and go on a little bit of a run here. So I'll side with the Tigers as a 7-point favorite. All right, Jim, another game which is fascinating, really doesn't involve defense, would be this Texas A&M Ole Miss game. You get Johnny Manziel, and then you got an Ole Miss team that started 3-0 and had high expectations with junior quarterback Bo Wallace. But in the last two games, they've stubbed their toe. So who has the edge in this one?
Well, look who they stubbed the toe against. It was, pretty. Well, I mean, they did. They ran into Alabama, and that's always hard. But Texas A&M played Alabama as well, but they did put up 42 points against them. Texas A&M's had 2 weeks to prepare. This is a pair of dynamite offensive teams, as John said. Manziel, 14 touchdowns, 4 picks, 314 rushing yards, leading A&M. Offense, 49 points per, 365, 221 rushing. I mean, Coach Sumlin has this cranked up. The defense does allow a lot of points. You talked about Ole Miss. Yeah, they can score as well. So this should be a shootout. It's a road game for A&M. That's a tough place to play. I think this is going to be. I know it's going to be a war. As long as the weather is good on Saturday, look for a lot of points.
Yeah, we got a total here of 75. It's gone down a little bit to 74.5, but that's still a whopping total. You got A&M as approximately a 6-point favorite. And with A&M, it's really no secret with this team. Unstoppable offense, as Kevin Sumlin has been a monster at recruiting speed on offense. Doesn't pay a lot of attention to the defensive side of the ball. So you get this A&M team averaging over 49 points, fifth in the nation in rushing, 221, and sensational in passing with 365. The defense, though, giving up 30.8 points per game. But against that great Alabama defense, my goodness, their offense was sensational, and they scored 42 points. And here's the thing about Ole Miss. This offensive line is a concern as well as the defensive line. Okay, Ole Miss has given up 25.2 points per game. Yeah, they got shut down by Alabama, but look at last week's game against Auburn. They lost 30-22. They allowed 282 yards rushing, 5.9 yards per carry. Your defense allows that to Auburn, and then you're going to face Johnny Manziel and all of the speedy offensive weapons that the Aggies have. That is a very bad matchup. And also keep in mind that Auburn had 6 sacks of Bo Wallace. It's not a very good offensive line, and it's a very shaky defense. Last year's game, A&M won 30-27. They were 12.5-point chalk. But when you take a closer look at that game, A&M had 290 yards rushing, 481 total yards, and Texas A&M turned the ball over 6 times. Ole Miss turned it over 2. It was a close game because of those 6 turnovers. It's difficult to predict that A&M is going to be that sloppy again and have 6 turnovers. So I think their offense is going to be unstoppable. They're not going to turn the ball over as much, and they will probably cover this 6-point line. All right, Jim, let's go some best bets and tell everybody about that special. I mean, every way you slice it with NFL and college, you've got a winning record off the charts.
Even though the line is ridiculously high, this is a college game, and when you look at college totals, when these kids get going, as long as the weather is good down there on Saturday, which we always have to check that because you never know what could come up off the Gulf and has caused some problems. But as long as the weather's good, the Ole Miss Texas A&M game should fly over the total, even though we're looking at a 70-some line. As far as my offer is at $21, you get the rest of September for $21, which includes 2 college games of the month going Saturday, and that's a rivalry game of the month going in there. That's early Saturday, and NFL total a month as well, and some baseball playoff games. $21. Call 1-866-841-1655. And if you like free winners, write to your cell phone each and every day. Just text winner to WINNER to 313131.
Now, when they call that number, Jim, are they going to get Zeus on the phone or are they going to get your office?
Well, it depends on how I'm feeling, but Zeus, and he's pretty demanding. He might just grab the phone from me. That's 1-866-841-1655 to talk to Zeus in person.
He's pretty talented as well as demanding if he can do that. Keep in mind, if you like to play totals, Dave Copeland has his super total in College of the Year going Saturday, $29, 1-866-896-1629. And Jeff Sott of Las Vegas Sports Services, he's got his NFL big game of the year going, college conference game of the year going on Sunday. He's got a pair of conference games of the month on Saturday, and he's off a 15-5-1 college run the last 3 weeks. You can get all his plays for $19 at 1-866-575-8916. My best bet for this weekend will be Texas A&M. I think that offense is too much, and this is a small line for such an explosive offense. And that'll do it for the college version of Proline. Make sure you check out the NFL version. I'm John Cranen in Las Vegas. Jim Feist signing off. Good luck with the games, everyone, and we'll see you next week.